Good afternoon. I'm going to apologize in starting this video. There's going to be a whole lot of coughing today for me, not because I'm sick, but because last night I had the joy of a skunk showing up at my house. He decided to come up on the front porch. I had Clancy outside using the bathroom. I heard a yip. Oh crap, my dog's outside. So I run outside with a broom. I'm beating and banging on everything, trying to get and make certain that I spook it away. You don't ever want to come face to face with a skunk. But I did, not outside. I did on the porch. I didn't see him. He didn't see me, but I'm telling you, it hit me. It filled my house with skunk juice. It stinks like holy hell, even today. So I apologize for the coughing. Last night, there was a meeting regarding carbon capture sequestration over there at the West Cal Arena in Sulphur. Obviously, I was there. I was asked to speak. And there's two things I never do. Number one, I would hope that there never comes a time that if you're asking me or wondering because you're in my proximity or you're a friend of mine, that you would ever guess what I'm really thinking. Not that it matters that people understand me or any of that, because this ain't about me, but I'm different in that. I don't like people that operate in the shadows. I don't like people that you never know what the hell they're really thinking, or that they're sneaky. That's the worst thing for me. I was asked to speak as things went on, and I began to hear even more information, a lot of which I already know. Some other things. There was a gentleman there last night. He's a geologist. I'm not fixing to argue with a geologist on this thing. What he presented makes perfect sense. If you have any common sense, or better yet, if you have further knowledge of drilling, dirt work, stuff like that, stratas in the layers of the soil. And so as I hear all this, I'm thinking, what am I going to say? Because I was asked to read from a sheet with the Senate bills and the House bills and kind of break it down on what all that was going on. And so as it went on, we were getting short on time. We planned about an hour and a half meeting. At this point, it was probably around an hour and 50 minutes, close to 2 hours. No one wants to sit that long through a meeting. I get it. But at the same time, I can't, if you ask me, convey my life story to you in 3 sentences and 2 minutes. It's not going to happen. So when the time came, as we got closer to the end, and I know I'm going to be speaking, I asked Mike Slocum. I said, Mike, I sent him a text trying to just be quiet in the audience. Sent him a text, make sure I'm last. Didn't see him reach for his phone, so I got his wife's attention. She reached over and looked at him. He come walk over to us and said, make sure I'm last. And what I did very respectfully. Hopefully to them, saved my Louisiana. Give me some thumbs up if y'all hear me. You can still hear me. I just got a text message. It'll kill the sound. Quick thumbs up if y'all can hear me. Anyway, there we go. Thank you. Mike came over and I told him, I said, put me dead last. And I wanted to be respectful to SaveMyLouisiana.org and everyone involved. I also wanted to be respectful of everyone's time and anyone present there last night. So I walked up, grabbed the mic. I said, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate everybody being here. If you need to go, please go ahead and go. No upset, no problems, whatever. We know it's late. We thank you for your time thus far. If you wish to hear what I'm about to say, feel free to stay. If you don't, trickle out. Take care. Good to see you. Bye-bye. And I went off into it, and basically I began stating what I was stating, asking the audience if they knew anything about Munchausen syndrome. And you might ask yourself right now, what the hell did he just say? Munchausen syndrome. Munchausen apostrophe S syndrome, Munchausen syndrome. You'll often hear someone that's always sick. Every time you turn around, man, I bump my elbow. Oh, I'm almost certain I have tuberculosis now. I sneezed. Oh, my God, it must be cancer. And that's what we call a hypochondriac, but it's also one of two parts of Munchausen syndrome. The second part, more realistically, you would know if you know the story of Eminem the rapper, whose mama had Munchausen syndrome. And what a person that has Munchausen syndrome does is they always create a problem, either making you sick, keeping you sick, or hoping you'll be sick so they can be the one to take care of you and fix the problem and come in and save the day. I then clearly turned to the audience. I said, that's Louisiana politics. There, I said it. It happens every damn time. You look back at COVID, you look back at anything this government has done, and every single time, what do? With their cohorts of big money and billionaires, they create problems so that they can then come in and rescue you from the very thing they created. There, I said it. I also made a statement last night as I told a story. I said the biggest problem that we have in the state of Louisiana and across the country is that our politicians are stupid. And yes, I said that. I said it very clearly. I did a write-up last night explaining that because that conversation, that statement seemed kind of blunt. It seemed very disrespectful. Let me explain, which I've already written up last night, but I'll explain it now eloquently in speech where you can hear me, see my tone, all that stuff. I know a lot of politicians. I'm blessed to have a lot of political friends. I'm blessed that in 18, 19 years now, I've served politically, and each and every time they ask me to run for office or be part of an office or this or that, I give the same answer every time. No. I'm not interested. Well, man, we need you. You do, because y'all suck at what y'all doing because you don't have a clue what you're doing, and everything's backpats and ass grabbing, and if you vote for me, I'll take care of you over here. I don't even know what your people need, but because I owe you a favor, and that's how we run this system, I'll do whatever you need. I ain't worried about the people that you represent, which you should be, but I'll join you in how we roll politics. In stating that our politicians are stupid, it came back to and was based on a scenario that took place in 2015 when we fought Senate Bill 336. We whipped them. We straight up whipped them. There's 4 people that spoke on that deal, and I'm not going to say their names. Great people, great friends. Have a lot of respect for these people, and one of which was actually an elected official at the time. But when we caught these people in a lie, I positioned them legally. And when it came down to it, and I put them on the record and made them answer to the information I had in my hand, matter of fact presentation of evidence being produced in the hearing, it directly did not align with what was being lied to by one of your political organizations in the state of Louisiana. And so with that, I positioned them basically, go ahead, vote for this. Watch what's going to happen. They realized it. They did the right thing. We won. We killed it. That's what you call it. You killed the bill. One of the 2 state representatives that I positioned on that day, I won't say the man's name. He's a good man. We talked afterward. He thanked me for what I did. He was like, man, I'm sorry. We didn't know we were being lied to. It's don't worry, I got you back. And ultimately, he and I became friends. We talked about 2 days later, and I said, sir, again, I'm not going to say his name. I said, I have a question. How in the hell does this continue to happen? It's the same thing every time. And I'll never forget this profound statement that he told me 10 years ago. It still rings so true in my head. And so when I look at things from this perspective, and something else I'll share in a moment. He said, any one of these people are good people. They mean well. They're smart in their business. They're great people in the community. But the reality of it is that when you put them all in a room together, they become stupid and they can't make a decision. There's your explanation for what I said last night. In the write-up I did last night, I made mention that there were about 6 people that I would consider to be stupid right now. And I'll clarify and expand a little further on that. If I represented you, if you voted for me with my mantra, my mindset, the way I believe politics should be, the first thing that I'm going to recognize in bound to do my duties that you elected me to, and upon taking my position and oath to you, secondarily only to the Constitution, and only that secondarily to God, I'm going to remember one important thing. I work for you. The beauty of it is for me, right now, I don't work for nobody. I work for me. Are there times I might represent y'all and what y'all believe and go fight for it? Hell yeah. I do it any day of the week, twice on Sunday. The problem is that when these people want to be elected, oh man, and I role played this last night. Man, hey, can I get your vote? I really want your vote, man. If you'll just, man, vote for me. We're going to do good things. All right. And then the moment they get the vote, get sworn in, it's kiss the ring. You don't know shit diddly. I got elected. I'm a somebody. Before I get too far, I want to touch back on the thing I said I would mention a minute ago regarding politics. The 2 most important words you can know and expand on and have in your mind when making a decision, should we or should we not do this, should we move in this direction, is 2 words: relevant need. When it comes to carbon capture sequestration, there is no relevant need. It's nothing more than the same old guff that was created by Al Gore in 1990, whereas we make a problem and then come riding in like we got the solution. And it comes down to this. I asked a gentleman in the audience last night, I put the mic right in front of his face and said, sir, can you spell science for me? And it kind of took him aback. I have no problem saying it. I put him on the spot on purpose. S-C-I-E-N-C-E. Thank you, sir. Wrong. You spell science, M-O-N-E-Y. That's how you spell science, M-O-N-E-Y. When I speak of relevant need for CCS, carbon capture sequestration, there ain't no need for it. It's nothing more than a scam. 45Q tax credits are pushing it. Everybody says, oh, you fix it by taking away 45Q. Hell, I never thought of that. Maybe I'll just run over there and turn off the light switch and this whole thing will go away. Didn't happen, ain't gonna happen. I got news and I'll tell you why. The further I get down this path, and if you want to know, I have known about this stuff since 2021, 4.5 years, going on 5 years, I don't know exact, pretty damn long time. And when it came along, I'll also state for the record, I thought it might be a good thing based on how it was sold. Let's go back. If I tell you you need to buy this sharp knife so you can dig your toenails out because it's going to make your life a beautiful place, you might be interested in buying that knife. But the reality of it is it doesn't change anything. Every single thing that's packaged to us as Americans and people in this country, it's always a damn lie. It's a scam. And if you ever go back and follow the science, M-O-N-E-Y, you'll quickly see every time how this thing works. As I go down the wormhole, and take me out of this, but I need to say something. Something was said about me the other day. It was a compliment. Skip, you're very well known to be opinionated and outspoken. I said, man, he said, don't apologize. We love that about you. All right, fair enough. I've had other people say you're so damn real. I say what the hell's on my mind, and I do it unapologetically. I think now's a good time to put a disclaimer and say something. Do I fully support myself with SaveMyLouisiana.org? Yep. Do I fully support their efforts? Yep. Do I fully believe in what they're doing? Yep. Do I fully believe that in them asking for money rightfully because they're not taking it for themselves, they're doing it to serve you because attorneys cost money, research costs money, filings cost money. That's what this stuff's for. You can't fight anything on Facebook. You're not going to fight it by screaming and hollering against the hallway. It takes money to do filings and put people up in a room or whatever and cover the expenses. That's why they're asking for money. So in all of that, if you're asking me my opinion on them, but at the same time, I always separate myself. Because when I'm speaking to y'all from here, there's two things you need to know. Number one, this is my phone. Number two, if you agree with me, you're welcome. Number three, if you don't, get in touch with me. Let's see if we can bridge that gap across the table and find common ground. And number four, if you don't like what I'm saying, there's 3 buttons at the top. You reach over and hit it, go to settings. The next thing you'll see is blocking. You type in my name, and that's hasta la vista, baby, because I don't hold back. I spent too long in the trenches from 2008 when I first got involved in anything political. And at that point in my life, I'm ashamed of it now as a grown man, remembering the wise words of a man in 1994. I won't say Monty Mills' name out loud. He asked me at the tender age of 20, he said, how do you vote? And me being the dumbass I was at 20, I said, I don't. They're all crooked. I'll never forget this statement. It's another profound statement like relevant need that has captivated my mind, as well as you put all these politicians in a room and they become stupid. These are founding thoughts in my head for some of the things I move on. And he told me on that day, he said, if you don't vote, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. In fact, you ought to be shot. What'd you just say? So he said it again. And when he did, he told me, he said, the reality of it is that men have fought and died. Men and women have fought and died and bled for your right to have a voice in the political process. Okay? So have that understanding about me if you're wondering. I said all those things to say this, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to circle on something I said a minute ago. The moment these people get elected, after being your buddy and making you promises and all that, all too often we find out that as soon as the opportunity presents itself to get a brown bag of cash or some political campaigns or some PAC money, political action campaign or political action committee, they do it and they forget about you. because of my involvement, because of the things that I'll say that most won't, people send me stuff. People tell me things that they're not going to tell other people. Understand, one thing I've never do, nor will I ever do, is burn someone that gives me meat on the bone or juicy information. I can't stand a gossip. I don't like people that are always talking outside of their head. They don't know what the hell they're talking about, or people that have all kind of ideas and only gripe about the problem instead of bringing forth the solution. So for me, as I sit here and watch this thing, and I look at CCS unfold, and I think about, and I said it last night, how June 21st of 2020, when Senate Bill 353 went through, it went right through in the big middle of COVID. You couldn't enter a governmental building in a time like that. Do you really think that there was any opportunity for public rebuttal, public people to be there and voice their opinions? No, hell no. They slid it right through. No better time. That's my opinion. With something this important, the next thing that happens, and I'm going to do a comparative now. I'm going to jump around. If you can't stay with me, turn it off. Go get you one of them 30-second TikTok videos that doesn't require any thought. No, sorry if that offends you, but if that's the case, go on. If you've ever noticed, every time something comes to your community, wherever it is in the United States, did you ever notice that you never hear about it until it's almost done? Let me share with you what that process looks like. And I have no upset towards corporations. Do they need to make massive money? Hell yeah, they're big. They require a lot of money. Do I particularly like the idea that they'll run you over to make sure their investors are made happy with good returns so that they can get even more money to run you over? No, I don't like it at all. But the sad fact of the matter is, bitching, whining, complaining about it don't get it done. So you have to find a way to coexist with it. So in that, I very well understand that they send corporate entities forward. People come and go on deer hunts and gator hunts and duck hunts and might mysteriously end up with a brand new King Ranch four-wheel drive in your driveway. I've seen that before. It happened to me. I had a guy tell me, if you want this job, you're going to buy me a brand new King Ranch, and my son's going to get a four-wheeler, and we need to go hunting in Texas. And I told him I don't do business like that, and walked away from I don't know the exact figure, but I can guarantee that job was in excess of $3 or $4 million. And I told him, shook his hand. I said, I'll never repeat this. I'll never say your name. I'm gone. But that's how these things work. Once they have padded the proverbial pocket of the local politicians and have them softened up, think about this. What is the one thing you always hear from a politician? Oh, man, it's going to create jobs. We're going to take care of the teachers. We're going to fix the roads. Your teachers still ain't getting paid. Ain't nobody got a damn job, really, because they're just laying off people all around here, and your roads still suck. So what point in your life will you decide to quit listening to that BS? So let me go back to how this works. They cushion them up. They get them positioned. Everything's in line. Then all of a sudden, it's pretty much a done deal, and then it gets made public. But the reality of it is because people on the inside are on the take or have the kiss my ring mentality, as was done with CCS, whereas they gave them eminent domain, private foreign entities that gave them eminent domain over your property. We'll touch on that in a minute. But they already sold that deal where they got it. They got this. You can go read the list. I'll put it in the comments later. I'll take a picture of it where you can read it for yourself and see the progression of this bill. But that's how these things are done. The more I learn about what's been done to us in the state of Louisiana, the more mad I get. It's unfortunate that I didn't have good communications. And for some of y'all that were present on the previous live feed I just did that I erased, you would have seen me walking across the pasture with my dog running around. Beautifully cut ground, ryegrass coming up, cool, misty, dark afternoon. I like weather like this. And when I got to the old bayou here, there was about 15 or 20 wood ducks in the ditch. And that might not mean nothing to you, but it means a lot to me. In fact, it's what I fight for in my life is moments like this, the peace, the quiet, watch the horses, the dog, the fish jump, the birds, whatever. And I'm not being mushy. It's just something I love. It's something I believe in. It's how I was raised. I'm very in tune with the land. And when I look at the idea of Louisiana, and it's all going to be backwards, so imagine the boot, Venice, Covington, Slidell, New Orleans, that area of the country, of the state, versus The southwest corner of the far bottom left, southwest Louisiana, will incorporate Beauregard, Calcasieu, and Cameron parishes into that. I think about all the years of living I have at 51, and I made a statement last night I'm going to touch on real quick. I'm starting to realize that maybe these mean something. So I recently looked at some pictures of myself from about 8 years ago, and I didn't have all these gray hairs. And crazy enough, last night I was able to pay homage to some people in the audience, one of which was my godfather, one of which was my deceased uncle, both of which served 8 years on the police jury. And one man who has more political knowledge and prowess than the sum total of anybody you're ever going to meet on a 53-person panel or 589 people in Congress. One man holds more knowledge than all of them, and I'm thankful to consider him a mentor to me. He's taken me aside more than once. He's redirected me. And believe it or not, sometimes when he sent me forth to lead the charge and we won, he was so proud. And having said that, what it's positioned me in 20 plus years to be cognizant of what's going on and how this stuff plays out. Right now, based on the statements made by those that want this, and I'm not talking about some Johnny Bob that's got his head up his ass that doesn't know any. Classy, get out of there! Get out of there! Oh, I wish I had my shot collar. He's running them horses full steam across the pasture. And how they do this, they sell you out. The big people that want this, again, not Johnny Bob that's just yammering over here. And look, I respect Johnny Bob. If that's his opinion, I'm going to respect that. And so should you, because you get nowhere attacking someone that has a different view than you. You'll find that if you find a table and 2 chairs and pull up and say, hey, man, let's talk. Leave your feelings behind. I'll leave mine behind. Let's sit down, you and me, and let's talk. Let's see if we can find common ground. You'd be surprised what can happen. Give me 2 seconds. I'm tying a bunch of stuff in my head. Understand I don't take notes. So the proverbial people that want this, the corporations, went on the record and stated, man, this is awesome. Louisiana, not Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Louisiana. I'm going to emphasize this one more time, Louisiana. Specifically, right over the top of the Chico Aquifer that encompasses 2/3 of the state of Louisiana. That's where we'll dump all this shit. 50% of the nations, the United States, 48 contiguous states, will dump all of it right there. Did you hear what I just said? 50% of the nation's carbon load for this thing that doesn't even need to happen. It's all a scam. 0.044. 4/10,000ths of a percent, tenths, hundredths, no, 4,000ths of a percent of increased carbon in the last 15 years is what's driving this. They're freaking out. Oh my God. If y'all remember in 1990, we were told that standing here in Sulphur, Louisiana, we'd be underwater and the water wouldn't stop until we got yonder up there to Shreveport. That's where the water would be. We were also told the Statue of Liberty would be underwater because of global warming. Nothing more than a scam, and this ties directly back to global warming. Again, they create a crisis so they can create a position, whereas they appear to have an answer, and they don't. It's all about money. The idea that we're going to stick 50% of the nation's carbon load right here over the top of the Chico Aquifer in the state of Louisiana is a real big problem with me. I'll share some reasons why. I'll elaborate. Most of you have heard the term Chico Aquifer. If you haven't, just know that if you enjoyed a drink of water today and it didn't come from the Houston water source, Nestle Pure Life or something like that, chances are good that if you turned on the tap, took a bath, flushed your toilet, got some water, washed your car, put out a fire, it came from the Chico Aquifer. The consumption rate right now on the Chico Aquifer is at an all-time low. And the consumption rate is actually that we're pulling out twice as much as it's able to recharge. I could go off about data centers and 1.54 million gallons of water a day. I could get deep off into that, but we're talking about CCS. Just listen, I'm going somewhere. And as it stands right now, our politicians sold us out. Because if you do a little research, you'll quickly find on the internet that other people of record with big corporations and stuff have gone on the record to say, go to Louisiana. Those dumbasses will quickly take the money because they're too stupid to realize what's going on. So I go back to our politicians are stupid. How in the hell can you get elected, take an oath to me, and then represent the interest of a foreign entity? Foreign. Let me explain corporations. Let me explain LLCs. I'm going to break this down for you. Back in the day, Christopher Columbus will say, I'm going to take you back that far. When the merchant shippers would leave England and go to India or somewhere else, if anything went wrong with the boat, then the person that owned the boat had to have a way to get free of the debt, because if they got in a wreck, hit the shore, a hurricane blew them over. I mean, understand, they didn't have radar. They didn't have anything but a freaking astrolabe and a compass and a wing and a prayer and a bunch of tough men that were able to live on strips of beef jerky for 3 months to make the trip. They had to have some way on paper to separate themselves from them. That's how corporations came to be. A corporation is nothing than a piece of paper with some names on it, an address, and it's a legal document that gives the living man of Kip Coltrin the separation from the liabilities of the entity for which I utilize to make a living for profit. It's that simple. You have a piece of paper that means nothing. We get in a wreck. I'll use somebody else's example. You go hit a big company, they're going to get the insurance max if it's that bad. And then after that, you're chasing a piece of paper with no heartbeat, no home address, no nothing. We'll use the fancy word I heard on a movie once, a fugazi. It doesn't even exist. Then you have an LLC, a limited liability corporation, and it's important to offer you that in corporations, you have S corporations, which are singular, and C corporations, which numerous people share in the profits at the end of the year. They all pay their stuff off of that. So S corp, C corp. LLC, limited liability company. Same thing. It's nothing more than a paper chase of separation. So I go back to, hey, Bobby, I voted for you. How in the hell did you just give away the rights to my property, open me up to get run over for whatever they want to do, come set up shop in my backyard, run a pipeline through me, all of that, and not allow me due process, whereas I could go to the court and petition against this thing and fight to have it removed? How in the hell did you just sell me down the river? Because that's what you just did. Let's take that a step further. Senate Bill 353, back in 2020, you know how they did it? A little play on words. And I'm shooting from the hip when I say this. I'm going to ad-lib it a little bit, but basically what they said, CCS is for the good and the public good. And the moment they use the words public good, when you go back to eminent domain allows a governmental institution to take from you what is yours for the sake of public good. It's kind of like fighting marijuana from 1980 to 2025, and then now all of a sudden we're going to reclassify it. We're going to put some different words on it, and suddenly it makes it okay for all the dope heads out there who have ruined their family, ruined themselves, killed people, whatnot. And I'm using marijuana as an example. Hell, let's just go ahead and classify LSD, hash, methamphetamines, and all that stuff is good too, because we could do it with a pen swipe in Washington, and when we do, it makes it law. Are you picking up what I'm putting down and how they did this? And so ultimately what they have done is that they have made Louisiana, yet again, the dumping ground for the nation. Go Google that. Louisiana dumping ground for the nation. Industrial dumping ground for the nation. Whatever you want to do. Go research it. I said in the meeting last night, one particular facility right down the road from here, I was 7 years old watching trucks come in off the interstate, 8, 9, 10, 12 at a time, and watching them go down to one such facility I speak of. And within hours of them getting down there to get rid of the toxins that came all the way from across the nation, all over the nation. And when they showed up down there mysteriously, myself, my neighbors, my friends, our cattle, everybody got sick about 3 o'clock in the morning. Of course, there's no better time to do that because nobody's watching, right? There's also a facility right here that I could show you that for years I fought them and won. I fought them hard enough that they had to spend several $1 million to fix their stack, because every weekend when nobody was watching and DEQ wasn't on call, they would start dumping that crap and it would fill the air around here and flood everything. It was a god-awful mess. But anyway, the point I'm making is this. Your politicians have sold you down the river. I'm going to shift gears real hard now that I've kind of laid some groundwork. Last night I made the statement as well. I don't do well with people that all they want to do is gripe about a problem. If you want to talk about a solution, I'm in. Let's do this. Let's find a way. I'm going to tell you very simply, the only solution to this is for everybody to stand up, get active, get involved. And here's the part nobody wants to hear. It takes money. Understand this video is nothing as an advocacy for you to donate to SaveMyLouisiana.org, but I'll offer you this. If they're the ones fighting for you, to protect you, to defend your way of life, to keep you protected from this crap that's coming with all this, don't you think you should? Will you be the person that will gladly show up to the barbecue, bring nothing, and then when you get ready to leave, ask for leftovers to take home? Don't be that person. All too often people get on Facebook and gripe and complain. You might think that's what I'm doing. No, I would hope in some way I'm educating someone to realize what's going on and wake the hell up. But the reality of it is that all too often people get on Facebook, don't know what they're talking about, haven't taken the time to educate themselves, and they just go to rambling and it accomplishes nothing. I'll offer you something that may help you want to get involved, something that I think you need to know whether you do or you don't. But did you know that the very people that you elected, now that you're standing up, over 800,000 people in the state of Louisiana, according to the 2024 census, 4,564,575 people, give or take 1,000 one way or the other. That's the number I'm remembering from having looked it up for myself. You roughly have 20% of Louisiana right now standing up and saying, we ain't doing this. Like hell, you're not putting this in my backyard. More importantly, you're not going to infringe upon my constitutional rights, which is the lawsuit that SaveMyLouisiana.org filed, because the Louisiana Constitution as well as the United States Constitution were trampled when people in Baton Rouge kissed my ring. We got this figured out. Do as I say, don't do as I do. I'm in charge now. You elected me. I forget. What's your name? Those people. When they filed this CCS stuff, there was extreme governmental overreach. They're fixing to get their ass handed to them in court, and I can't wait. In response to Baton Rouge and their upset over you actually having a place in the United States and a constitutional right to free speech to speak to your government and redress your grievances, they don't like it. So what have they done? They've resorted to smear tactics. Oh, these people are getting paid by billionaire left-wing environmentalist groups. Please, please, please give them my address if they even exist. I could use some money right now. I really could. And just for the sake of the record, I have about $282 in my bank account after being off for 9-10 days now since December 8th when I got in the 6th wreck I've been in 2 years. I have no problem telling you, it's hard to pay bills when you're all withdrawals and no deposits. So if this billionaire group exists and they're supposed to be supporting us, please send them my way. I could use a payday loan right now. That ain't happening. Everybody who's involved in Save My Louisiana understand. Again, I said earlier, do I support them? Do I appreciate them? Yes. But also at the same time, I will never lose my voice. I always separate myself and I draw a line even with them and tell them, I'm going to say what I'm thinking. I don't follow no man's law. I don't follow no man's procedure. I do what I do. If you like it, great. We'll work together. If not, I'll lone wolf this thing and fight it till there's no air in my lungs. But I can tell you that for every one of those people that's over there fighting for this thing, fighting for you, they're no different than me. They ain't getting a damn thing. The next thing government said, Baton Rouge, government's office, was that they're fear-mongering. Yeah. Can you imagine 8,865 billion metric ton? A metric ton is roughly 200 pounds or 1/3 more, I forget exactly, but it's not a ton at 2,000, it's much higher. But can you imagine 8,865 billion with a B metric tons of this crap that you can't control? You have no way to guarantee it's going to stay where you put it. Number 3, if it gets loose, you can't reverse it. Oh, they back off on the pressures. That's what they did. That's what they told me. We'll back off on the pressure and let it settle. Okay, well, the moment it hits moisture, it turns into carbonic acid. Bye-bye, Chico Aquifer. How long will it take for the aquifer to recover? We don't know. But if it gets too bad, we'll use 18-wheelers and we'll truck in water from somewhere else. You heard that right, what I just said. If it gets too bad and messes up the aquifer, we'll truck in water from somewhere else. Hey, I got a better idea. Why don't we just not do this shit until you can control it and know what's going on? How about that? How about we quit giving corporations a slide and a runaway because 45Q is a credit to them, which you'll pay for? You're getting saddled with another debt from the government's idea. I read something the other day. There's 193 countries in the world, and 172 of them get free money from the United States. For what? If I give you money, I'm either going to do it out of my heart or an expectant for a service, a product, or a return on my investment. Yet we just keep opening the gate and doing this. You see the same set of politics that keep occurring? And this deal here is nothing more than a money scam. It's worse than COVID. It makes COVID look like it never happened. It's ridiculous. So in all of that, the other thing they did, after they called everybody fearmongers, hey, I'm sorry. I got 30 plus years in welding, pipe fitting, fabrication, pressure testing, oil field transportation, hazmat transportation, trucking, dirt work, whole lot of stuff I've done. I've seen some things. I've been some places. I didn't have one job. I have done so much stuff. And so when these things happen, I'm sitting there looking at that going, I don't know everything, but I know enough to know that this ain't right, from knowledge, from research I do, and from people whose wisdom I draw off of and mentoring. Hey, tell me about this. I can start blowing names right now. You'd be like, holy crap, how did you know those guys? Hey, I'm lucky. Persistence and knowing people, putting you in the network, you can find out almost anything. And so when the government's telling you, well, they're fear-mongering, you're damn right. I'm smart enough to know that if I go in my house right now and open a can of tear gas and close the doors, when I come in 15 minutes, this thing ain't going to go away. I'm smart enough to know that I have to have water. I'm smart enough to know that we have to be able to grow food. I'm smart enough to know that I can do without a freaking Starbucks instead of getting rid of that farm where the cattle are raised that we enjoy our hamburgers on, and knowing also that we're going to need water for everything. These people don't see it. They're stupid. One more thing they did was they have threatened people who speak up against this. Let me say that one more time. They have physically, personally threatened. I'm talking about physical damage. I'll kick your ass. You better keep an eye on your back, all that stuff. And some even threaten to sue, which if they want to sue, that's not a big deal. You can go to court. You're going to lose. Spend your money. Oh, and then you get to pay me for damages. Vexatious litigation. Hey, I'm fine with that. Let's do this. You ready? Let's go. I say all that to say this. If this thing is so damn good and this is the answer to what we need, then why are they fighting so hard that now the people are smart enough to realize they're lying to us, that when we fight, they come against us and threaten us? If this thing was that good, wouldn't it go through a little bit easier? Ponder that thought. God bless. We love you. We'll catch you on the flip.